Another video. In this video today, guys, I'm going to be going through, because I was getting a lot of questions on my how to play Yu-Gi-Oh series videos that I've got going on. A few of you guys commented, want me to break down a few more of the summons here in Yu-Gi-Oh since you haven't played in a while. So what I've been doing is making some dedicated videos going through the different summoning types. I've already did one on link summons. I'll link it in the and up in the upper right in the YouTube cards, guys, so you can check it out after this one. If you still need some help with link summons, definitely check that video out after you watch this one. Today in this one, guys, we're going to be going through Synchro Summons, and we're going to be going through Xyz Summons. I'm going to do multiple different summons. I'm going to go over the cards themselves, the summons, and how the cards work and how to play them. All that will be broken down in this video. If you guys like videos like this, make sure you get subscribed if you're not already subscribed. We're also doing a giveaway. Once we hit 500 subs here on the channel, guys, I'll be giving away... For right now, I'm doing 3 display boxes from Ghost of the Past. If we happen to hit 500 subs here on the channel before the next set comes out, which is Ancient Guardians, which comes out May 7th. So if we hit the 500 subs before then, guys, I'll give away 3 of these display boxes. Roughly, they're still over $100 a piece, so it's a little extra incentive for you guys to subscribe before May 7th. If it happens to be after May 7th, it'll end up being just 3 single box booster boxes of Ancient Guardians instead. So I'm giving 3 Ghosts from the Past. If we happen to get it out, 1 to, 3 different lucky individual people. With that being said, guys, we'll go ahead and dive in. Make sure you like the video because it really does help out the channel, especially this being a smaller channel, and helps the channel grow, and I really do appreciate your guys' love and support and all your positive comments. If there's something you feel like you don't understand or maybe a follow-up question you have, list it down below in the comments, guys, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive in. So what I want to do is just kind of go through a staple card that's very common and most people know or have heard of, Stardust Dragon. So I figured it'd be a really good one for us to use in one of the examples. Like I said, I'm going to do many of these guys. So what you always want to do, right, in Yu-Gi-Oh, is you want to look at the card that you want to play. So in this case, we want to Synchro Summon Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is a level 8. You can tell that by the stars at the top, and you can tell that he's a Synchro card because it's listed Synchro down here at the bottom, and you can see also the white, kind of the white background as well, too, and it says Synchro. And if you look how he's played, guys, it says 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. So the next question is, what is a tuner, right? So let's look at what is a tuner. So tuner monsters look like this. I'm just going to use this, and this will be one of the ones that we use in Scenario. I've got a few others that we'll use. But Shin Squire, you can see, look, it says Warrior, and then he's also a tuner. So they'll have like their type. In this case, this one just happens to be a warrior. And then next to the side of it, you're going to see it's listed as a tuner. So you have to have these in order to play synchro monsters. You have to have a tuner card. So it has to say tuner here, or you maybe have to have a monster card effect or a spell or trap, whatever it is that makes your monster tuners. There's several of those. I'm not going to go over those in those videos. You just need to know, I'm just going over the summon itself. It's important that your monster is a tuner. The rest of it, guys, is based on the level. So how it works, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how it works. We're going to Synchro Summon Stardust Dragon. Before we do that, I want to go over the monster card zones because that's very important in Yu-Gi-Oh now. So there's multiple monster zones, right? You've got your standard, right, 5 monster zones and your main monster zones. Also, you've got the 2 extra monster zones. So when you play, like in this case, we're going to Synchro Summon Stardust Dragon. It's very important where you put him in the zone, guys, right? So if I put him up here in my Link monster zone, you can use either one if both are open, right? The other one will be left for your opponent if, let's say, we put Stardust Dragon here. The problem with putting Stardust Dragon in your extra monster zone, if you happen to Link summon, you're going to have to use Stardust as a material. So it's very important. We don't want to put him here unless maybe we're running like an all-synchro deck. That's fine, right? Maybe we've got rest of our board filled with synchro monsters because we're running a synchro type deck and we don't play links. That's fine, right? If you're not running links in your deck, you can use the extra monster zone, but if you're running links, guys, it's very important you put him down here in one of the 5 zones. Try and keep him out of this zone here because you don't want relinquished enema stealing, you don't want your opponent stealing your Stardust Dragon and using them against you. So try and keep him out of this zone and this zone, just as a quick strategy tip in the video. But let's go ahead and play him, guys. So I'm just going to put monsters on the field and then explain how the summon is done. These can be any monsters. I'm just using this because it's going to make it quicker for us to do rest of the summons that I have planned for us in the video. So we've got our Shin Squire, which is our tuner, guys. We've got our Shinai, that's a regular monster and a regular effect monster warrior, and we got our Kaizen. These 2 cards over here could be anything, right? It doesn't matter that they're 6 Sams, they can be anything. The only thing that we care about are the levels. So how you Synchro Summon is based on, one, you have a tuner, and then you add up the levels of the cards that you're trying to play to equal the monster you want out. So in this case, he's an 8, so we need a tuner, and all the cards we use for the Synchro Summon have to equal 8. So we've got 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. So that's enough for us to play, so we can Synchro Summon. These will get sent to the graveyard, so we'll put them in the graveyard, and now we can Synchro Summon Stardust Dragon to the field. And bam. And essentially, guys, that's how you Synchro Summon. I'll run through a few more of those. We'll go through a few more. Another Synchro Summon, let's do... Put them out to the side. Let's say we'll go back to the Shanai and our Kaizen. Then we're going to Synchro again. This time we can play a 5, guys. Both of them are Earth. What that means is now we can play Naturia Beast, because a Naturia Beast, if you look, is a Beast Synchro. He has to be made with 1 Earth tuner and 1 or more non-Earth tuner monsters, which our monsters qualify, right? Because our Squire is a Earth and is a tuner, and our Kaizen is a Earth monster as well. So we can go into our Naturia Beast. And bam, now we've Synchro Summoned a level 5 monster, Naturia Beast out. The next one we'll go into, sometimes, guys, right, there's going to be specific cards that have specific monsters. I'm going to use Plague Spreader in this example because he's a very well-known card in the community. Almost everyone's heard of Plague Spreader just about. You can see he's a zombie and a tuner. What we're going to do this time, we're going to Synchro, and this time we have 2 zombie monsters, and they equal level 6. That's going to allow us to bring out Archfiend Zombie Skull. You can see that he's made specifically with Plague Spreader. Some of them are made with specific cards, guys. And then we can do, has to be 2 or more non-zombie monsters. So we actually would need like another zombie that's a lower level. I don't have one at the moment, but just for you to kind of get that example. So in this example, that wouldn't work. So we would need something smaller. So we need a level 2, another level 2, and another level 2. So you would need basically him plus 2 other level 2 monsters to play him. So that would be a perfect example of we wouldn't be able to Synchro Summon him this way, because we would need Plague Spreader and at least 2 or more, because it says specifically 2 or more. If it didn't say 2 or more, we could just do it with Mizuho and Plague Spreader. So that's why I wanted to add this in the video, so you guys could see examples of stuff that wouldn't work. So that's why that would not work. Let's move on to the Xyz Summon, guys. So before we dive into the Xyz Summons, I actually want to explain and go over the cards themselves, and then we'll dive more into how to play them, if that makes sense. Also with the Synchro Summons, I guess before we kind of go, you guys can use, like for this, the Synchros, you can use like tokens and stuff like that too, guys, to play these, just in case if anyone's curious. I know I left that part up just before I forget. But how to play the Xyz monsters, guys, how they work. In this case, they attach the monsters as material. So what they do in this case, we'll take like both of our Kaizens, for example, and let's say we have 2 Kaizens on the field. What we would do is bam, and they overlay. And that's how they work for the Xyz monsters. That's how you summon them, guys. All these do is you basically detach based on the monster's effect. Like his effect is you detach both cards, and his attack becomes double, which in this case would be 4,000, because his original attack is 2,000. So that's how that would work. I've got some questions in the past, so I'll go and kind of address a few of them now with this particular summon. If your opponent happens to, let's say, like mind control your opponent, or use like tactics to take control of it or something like that, they get the monster and the material, guys. So all of this would go to our opponent because it's all attached with the card. So our opponent would get these, and it would go in, whatever zone they want to put into, of course. And then if you happen to get it back, of course, they're probably going to use the effect. But let's say, you stop them from attacking, like with Threatening Roar or something like that, or they do something that keeps them from attacking. You get the monster card back. You'll still get them with the material as well. And then if they didn't use his effect, then you can use, his effect to remove 2 and, make him 4K. But that's essentially how they work, guys. They're very simple. I noticed a lot of people are over making this more complicated than it is for the Xyz monsters. I hope that demonstration, like I said, we'll do some more, but I just wanted to run through that really quick and easy. For this is different, though. You can't use tokens for these guys. You can't use tokens to play these. Now, you can use like the monster trap cards those do count like as monsters. You got to make sure yet again the levels are the same. These are all played by making sure the monster levels are exactly the same. All of them are that same way. Some of them have a few more specifications, which we'll get into here in a second. Well, actually, we'll just go ahead and do that now. So like another example, just using the same 2 cards, would be like Shadow of the 6 Samurai Shin. He's a really good example because if you notice, he has to be played with 2 level 4 6 Samurai monsters. It has to be specifically 6 Samurai, unlike our Excalibur that can be just played with 2 level 4 warriors. So we've got 2 level 4 warriors, and they're both 6 Samurai, as you guys can see. So now we can do the same thing. They're played the same way. We would take them from our monster zones. We would bring him out, and they would attach as material. And then we go to use his effect. We just would detach. And when you detach the cards, guys, they go to the graveyard. If your opponent happens to have like Macro Cosmos or something, you'll still get the effect. Just the card is going to be removed from play instead. So just kind of keep that in mind. Another thing is, let's say they destroy your monster by battle, or let's say they Eternal Tribute when we summon him out. Let's say we play Monster Reborn. We decided to bring back our Shin to the field. He's not going to get the materials back, guys, so you're going to have to use some other card effect or something like that. He doesn't have an effect to add back materials. Some of them do, but he's not one of them. So just kind of keep that in mind. He's going to come back, but he's not going to get his effect. So he's just basically a 2,500 attack, and that's basically all he is. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you bring them back from the field, unless they have a specifically based on their own effect to get material something off the field or in your graveyard or whatever the card may say, other than that, they're going to come back. Going to come back to your field with no material, and they're not going to be able to get material unless they use some sort of card effect, basically to give the material. Long story short, another thing is if they happen to, let's say, going back to the other example, let's say instead of Eternal Tribute, let's say we play him, and let's say they Book of Moon him. So he will go face down, guys, but in this case, but the material will stay. So we'll still keep the material on our monster cards. They'll still sit, since they're attached to him, they won't go away. They don't go to the graveyard just because he's flipped down. And then next, let's say, go to our next turn, we flip him back face up, backup attack mode if he wasn't destroyed. He's still going to get to keep his material, and we can still use his effect the following turn. So I wanted to make sure I covered that in the video, because that's been a lot of questions happen too. What happens if the Xyz monsters are flipped face down? They still keep the material, guys, so you don't have to worry about them, losing materials. Another one to go through really quickly, just to do another Xyz Summon. Like for example, it's only level 4 that I have quickly right now. So let's say like some cards, for example, like the Prime Math Mech. You guys see me play this a lot in the 6 Sam deck. You can see based on the number of level 4 monsters he's played with, he gets extra effects, guys. So if he's played with 2 level 4s, basically you can add 1 Math Mech card from your deck to your hand. 3 level 4s, you can add 1 level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. If he's played with 4 level 4s, you can add 1 level, you can add 1 spell trap card from your deck to hand, which is usually what I use it for. So let's say we go ahead and use all 4 of these, right? And then depending on what we want to do, right, we can use any of the effects. Just because he has 4, we don't have to just use the 4. You can use still the level 2 or the level 3. But just remember, when you're doing those, you're paying cost. So if we decide to use like the second one, right, you're going to detach the 2, and then they're going to go to the graveyard. You're still going to have 2 left. So then you can still use the following, next turn, and you can detach the other 2 if he's still on the field to get the effect again. But just keep that in mind. But if we do the opposite, and let's say we remove like all 4 like I normally do and send them to the graveyard, then you're only going to be able to add the spell or trap card. He's not going to be able to do anything else depending on the deck he's in. If he's in a Math Mech deck, you can do a little extra stuff. But if he's not in a Math Mech deck, and like the 6 Sam deck I use, you're not going to be doing anything else with him essentially at that moment. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, also if he's equipped, for example, if let's say they use I'm trying to think of something that steals. Oh, kind of like Bore Load. Like let's say they steal him with Bore Load, right? They go battle phase, and let's say we have our 4 attachments on him. We didn't use the effect for whatever reason. Maybe they stopped us from using effects for our turn. So let's say they steal him with Bore Load when they go battle phase their turn, guys. What they'll end up doing, he'll still keep the counters just like we talked about before. But if anything that makes him like an equipped monster, like if they do something to equip, and I'm drawing a blank here at the moment, unfortunately, but if they get something that's going to make him as an equipped monster that's equipped to their monster itself, he's going to lose all the material and they're going to go to the graveyard, essentially. So just kind of keep that in mind. I think at this point I've covered everything, guys. I don't think I've left anything out. If I did, or if you have questions, let me know down below in the comments, guys. But I think I covered everything that you need to know about these. They're very easy to play. A lot of people are just overcomplicating them, but I just wanted to make this short video to go through and show how easy they are to basically to do those summons, essentially. But I hope you guys found this video very helpful and very useful. Let me know, like I said, down below in the comments if you have any questions. If you're not subscribed, make sure you get subscribed. Remember, if we hit the 500 subs here before the next set comes out, the Guardian set, I'll give away 3 display boxes of Ghosts from the Past. If we don't hit it before then, and then we happen to hit it after Guardians come out, then I'll give away 3 sealed booster boxes to 1 to 3 different lucky individuals here on the channel, guys. But that'll do it for this video, guys. I appreciate your love and support as always. Make sure you smash the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.